What is going on, everyone? I thought this was an interesting question heading into the Eagles-Cowboys game. And since the game is at 8:20, there's plenty of time to talk more than just that Football Friday on this game, because you have all day Sunday to really think about this game even more. And the question is, who has the most pressure? Is there more pressure on the Dallas Cowboys than the Eagles? And this isn't to take a step back and say, whoa, okay, listen, it's not as big of a game for the Eagles than we think. No, it's a big game. This is a big game for both teams. You can take the division lead, and you can step on the throat of your division rival. This game is big for both teams. This isn't to downplay that. But I personally believe that there is a little bit more pressure on the Cowboys than the Birds, and I will explain why. Before I explain why, just know that I can give you free money. Use the promo code BROADS for $20 off of your SeatGeek's total purchase. Get yourself to a game. Alright, so, once again, this isn't to look at it and try and take pressure off the Eagles. There's pressure on both teams, but who has a little bit more? Who has a little bit more? And I think it's the Cowboys. One, it's a home game for them. It's a home game. If this was at the Link, I would say, all right, that goes towards more pressure for the Birds, because you're supposed to win your home games. You have home field advantage. You have the fan base behind you. You're comfortable in your own stadium. No matter who's playing at home, you're supposed to win that game. So that is number one. Number two, the possibility of losing 4 games in a row. That's bad. That is so hard to do. If you are a good football team, losing 4 games in a row is tough to do. That's something that the Redskins do. That's something that the Jets do. That's something that the Miami Dolphins do. Bad football teams lose 4 games in a row, and the last thing the Dallas Cowboys need is to take their 4th. To take their 4th in a row against the Philadelphia Eagles, and then have all that noise and all that hate towards the organization after having such a hot start. When you look at who wasn't supposed to play this game, and then on Friday you hear the news from all the Dallas Cowboys reporters that Amari Cooper looks like he might be a go. Their tackles might be going as well. And their secondary play will have some of the players that were banged up. It almost seems like a desperation move. Now, I don't know the status fully of Amari Cooper. He might be more ready to go than I think he is. But he's clearly not going to be 100%, right? Neither is that offensive line. It's almost smelling like desperation, like the Cowboys need this W so bad. All right, let's at least put these players out there because they are our top guys. Whether they are 100% or not, we need to put them in the ball game because we need to win. We can't have backup tackles in, because if we lose this game, we're in trouble. It smells like a sense of urgency move to make sure all these players that were banged up insanely and weren't going to be able to play on Sunday, it's just weird that all of them seem to find the lineup, or the possibility to find the lineup, to at least test themselves to see if they can play. It seems like a sense of urgency move because they don't want to fall. And lastly here, Jason Garrett is on the hot seat. He can feel his ass burning. So from his perspective, the head coach perspective, he's got a ton of eyeballs set on him. Not just from the fan base, I'm talking organizationally, inside. What has this guy done? And you can look at the offensive coordinator as well, and the defensive coordinator, because the offense started out hot, and now it's starting to maybe stall a tad. The defense took a big drop from last year. What's going on? The coaching staff feel it. They feel it. So that's why I think there's a tad more on Dallas. But there's plenty on the Birds. How many times now, specifically away games, do we score 0 points in the first quarter? Way too many. Doug Pederson hasn't put together a great game plan lately, so it seems. We haven't been able to move the ball well. Offensively, we have looked bad. we haven't scored many points. And I'm sorry, but the loss of Deshaun Jackson can't change it to this extreme. Now, speaking of Deshaun Jackson, I'm truly disgusted because I feel like we botched that situation from the jump. The no surgery thing, the surgery thing. Well, look at him. He's still not competing. He's still not available. I don't think we handled that situation correctly at all. But anyway, going back to it. There's a ton of pressure on Doug Pederson to put together some sort of game plan for the Philadelphia Eagles to move the ball. Whether that's something similar to what we did in Green Bay, where we gave Jordan Howard the ball, Miles Sanders the ball, and we ran the ball because we've seen this Dallas Cowboys team give up some run yards. So it is possible to run on this football team. Vander Esch seems like he's taking a tad step back. It seems like you can find a way through that offensive line if our offensive line can create the right gaps, which will be tough to do considering Andre Dillard is in the mix and he's going to have to go up against someone like Quinn, who is a beast, who has had success. But it is possible, and Doug Pederson has to do it, and Mike Groh. The offense needs to find some sort of rhythm. It can't continue to look ugly, and we can't continue to fall back in games, fall back early. 10-0, 10-0, 10-0. Why are we always down 10 points at some point? It's ridiculous. Our secondary. Mills is back. I don't know the status of Ronald Darby at this very moment. I don't know if he's a full-on go, if Rasul Douglas is going to continue to play with Mills on the other side. But we stopped Dalvin Cook against the Vikings. We held him to very reasonable numbers. Yet we got shredded in the passing game. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, Zeke is the motor, right? When you take a look at the Dallas Cowboys winning games, it all starts with Zeke being effective running the ball. But with this cornerback crew, you would assume the Dallas Cowboys are going to try and throw the ball. So if we can stop Zeke, which is a very tough task, if we can stop Zeke, stop's not the right word. If we can hold him to a reasonable number, will that be enough? Or will Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper and some of these other wide receivers, are they going to abuse the secondary like every other team in this damn league does? So there's pressure on the Eagles to be able to stop the passing game because we just can't. We just can't. And for the people who want secondary help over the top, which I agree, I think that needs to happen at times. Just know when you do that, Zeke will have availability there to run up the middle and make things happen because we will be dropping people out of the box and over the top. I do agree that you'd rather them run the ball and find ways to be effective in the short game and move downfield that way than one 60-yard bomb or even two 60-yard bombs like with the Vikings, or even three if they would have executed on another one. Yes, you would rather have them dunk and dive and run the ball and find ways to move downfield that way over the emotional killer of a 60-yard bomb, without a doubt. But when that does move the chains consistently, that's holding your offense off the ball as well. I'm just saying there is an alternative way to look at this when you scream for secondary help over the top. There are other effects to that, and you will see Zeke being effective, and this team does very well when Zeke is effective. I'm just curious to see how we are going to play that. And linebacker play. We cut Zach Brown. Right now it's Kamagruze Hill, Gary, and the undrafted player in TJ Edwards. So it's not like our linebacker crew is anything insanely stellar either. Both teams have been struggling. You just can't deny it. The Eagles' offense have struggled. The Dallas defense has struggled at times. Something has to give, right? Something has to give. I would say the Eagles' defense has struggled. And the Cowboys' offense hasn't been as effective as it was through the first 3 weeks of the season. Something has to give. The winner gets first place in the NFC East. I don't think whoever loses is completely out. This isn't make or break the season. I think whoever wins the division is going to the playoffs, and I don't believe there will be a wild card team out of the NFC East. So in terms of that, it is very important. When you take a look at that, it's very important. But whoever falls to 3-4, it's not game over. If the Eagles do win and we're 4-3 and the Cowboys are 3-4, it's not necessarily over for them. It might feel that way because of a 4-game losing streak compared to if the Eagles lose, it's not a 4-game losing streak. Maybe that changes the perspective on things, but 3-4 and 4-3, it's not the end of the world for either team to lose, but it is a very big game at the same time. This game, I believe, the Cowboys have more pressure. Their backs are against the wall a little bit more. They're at home. The coach is on the hot seat. They've struggled. They've lost 3 straight. And when I see them throw all their players back into the lineup with a chance to play, there's a reason for that. I think they might be clinching a little bit. Now, I don't know how this game is going to play out. I've stated this before. I'm nervous as an Eagles fan, without a doubt. This could go either way, can it not? It can go either way. I have no clue what to expect because both teams are just, they're just whatever right now. They're whatever. No one knows what to expect. We've seen them play good. We've seen them play bad. We've seen both offenses move. We've seen both offenses struggle. We've seen both defenses do well and both defenses struggle. The problem with the Eagles, though, that concerns me the most is I don't think we're going to be able to get any pressure. And if we can't get pressure on the quarterback, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Now, when I say we saw the Eagles defense play well, I guess that's really against the Jets, which does that really count? I don't know. I don't know if that really counts. There were moments throughout the season so far. I didn't think in Atlanta it was horrendous because we dialed up so many blitzes and gave Matt Ryan a bunch of trouble. There were moments. Okay, there were moments. Don't yell at me. I don't think we're going to be able to get pressure, and without pressure, we're going to be in trouble. We just haven't generated any sacks. And I can't count the Jets game. Outside of the Jets game, we haven't generated enough pressure, enough sacks. And without that, our corners are going to get abused, and they get abused anyway, so it's just going to be interesting. But you never know. You never know. Maybe Jalen Mills is that spark plug we needed. We need some sort of swag. He gets torched on the double moves all the time. There's no denying it. We've seen it forever, and we used to scream at him to get off the field all the time because we couldn't stand him. Yet he does have a different type of personality compared to Sidney Jones, who gets torched on the double move and puts his head down and his body language is bad. No. With Jalen Mills, he'll give you the finger wave. He'll wag his finger in your face even though he didn't do anything, and he'll line right back up, and he has that put it behind you mentality, and you need that as a cornerback, especially in this league. 8:20 Sunday Night Football in Dallas. It's going to be a battle. I'm very intrigued, and I want to see how the Eagles come out and play. It will be entertaining, so I hope. It will be fun. It's a great rivalry. We hate each other, and that's the beauty of sports, right? That's the beauty of sports. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I will see you next time.